Eden Zero is back, and we start off where we left off. Joker took out the entire power grid of the building, so as a result, they're in the dark, like literally in the dark. And so they start turning on different flashlights, including Peanut, who has her eyes, which are literal searchlights. But because of this, we get this really cool effect with the art, where everything is somewhat silhouetted at the same time still clear, because, well, the light is constantly moving around and adjusting depending on who has the light. And so everything is just all shadowy, and that's actually a really cool effect to have in a manga. And right on time, the Mother Ether finishes its update, and they finally get their beacon, which, yeah, that's a hell of a timing, which means Joker most likely knew what was happening as it was happening, which there could be either a spy amongst them, which I doubt, or most likely Joker knows how to infiltrate even better than we thought she could, and has been following them for a while. Now this chapter belongs to old Weisz, because he straight up just starts using his abilities like no other, and he's just like the top programmer in the entire verse. Yeah, so the problem is that they can't communicate with the Eden. There's been a signal jammer by Joker, and old Weisz, from scraps, creates an entire comm network from scratch, which means he didn't just create a communication device. What he did is he basically created an entire cell phone service in an instant, which is absurd. They connect to the Eden Zero, as they should, and everyone freaks out at first seeing Old Man's face, but then obviously young Weisz explains everything. And, well, the rest of the crew just starts laughing at the fact that what Weisz is going to look like is an old man. A balding gentleman. Well, the majority of the crew starts laughing about it. The Shining Star is a little bit different. Valkyrie wants to fight, Sister is kind of surprised how gung-ho she is about fighting, Witch is doing her thing as the mother of the crew, and Hermit is currently broken down because she can't handle the fact that Weisz is apparently smarter than her. Poor Hermit. Feather uses her eyes of Venus to locate where all the Jokers are, and we learn that there's exactly 100 of them. And apparently, yes, each one has the ability to slow down time to almost a crawl, so they're basically screwed. Or at least they would have been if old Weisz didn't know the limited range of this ability, which seems to be 50 meters. Once again, old Weisz just top tier in this chapter. So they all decide that the best way to fight is just at a distance then, because if they get up close, they'll be frozen, but no big deal. They all have long range attacks, including Homaru, who has a bow and arrow, which I had no idea she could even do that. If it happened before in the story, I did not remember it at all. Rebecca's parents tells them all to take Mother's ether and get off-world as quickly as possible. Everyone wants to know what they're going to do, but they decide they're going to stay behind and fight for their planet, which should be fine because their Joker is after Mother's ether, so if the Eden Zero crew escapes, then obviously Joker's just going to leave the place and go after them. There'd be no reason to stay on the planet anymore. Rebecca tearfully hugs them, and then they're off. Old Weisz tries to give a flash drive to Peanut, but Peanut refuses, saying that she knows what a death flag is now, and she is going to avoid them like the plague, apparently. So their plan of escape is actually quite simple. Feather uses her ability to spot where all the Jokers are, so this way they're always out of range of Joker's ability, so they can then blast it at range. Shaky uses his gravity bullets, Homer uses her bow and arrow, and, well, Weisz and Rebecca use guns. Funny thing is, the bunny is like, you know, you two are boring. Which is, damn, that's just rude out of nowhere. Like, come on. They're fighting as well. There's no need to go that far. Weisz basically takes it as a challenge, though, and he transforms into Arsenal Mark II and starts blasting all the helixes he can. Old Weisz is basically amazed by this. He loves it. Of course he does, he's Weisz. And, of course, his bunny companion is... She's amazed that a grown-ass man is into that. One of the Jokers actually gets in too close, and as a result, it's about to freeze their time. Well, slow down their time, whatever. But, of course, Rebecca's immune, so she just goes into overdrive and then beats the hell out of it. The bunny girl then says, oh, I guess you are interesting. Also, you like to dress all lewd, basically. And Rebecca's response is, I don't want to hear that from someone who's wearing a bunny girl suit. And I pointed this out earlier in another chapter, where I always assumed that was just a bar outfit. That was like the thing she wore as a uniform, until I saw her, and I was like, oh, okay, that's just what her species wears. And once again, it's being pointed out in the manga. It's nice when the story makes the same point you do. They finally make it to where the Eden Zero is. That's when Feather orders them all to stop, basically, because Joker is on the ship. Because of course she is. That is definitely the smartest move Joker could have made, because there's no one on the ship that's immune to her, and also that's where everyone is headed. So that's where the Mother Ether is also headed. So it's just the perfect location to take over. I am hoping the way they save everyone on the Eden Zero is old Weisz just touches the outside of it and then basically takes it over. That really shows just how amazing he really is and how great he's become since his old age. with his ether gear. I just think that would be like the perfect way to start up the next chapter. I would just love to see him do just one last cool thing before, he leaves in his own ship and we don't see him again for another 50 chapters. But yeah, Old Weisz, definitely the MVP of this chapter. Like, damn. He was the best. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give a thumbs up so you can enjoy more Eaton's Ear and other amazing things. Thank you and have a great day.